What's up, tipsies? Okay, so this is a new installment of The Bachelorette Round, Brown, and Abroad edition. Well, finally went on a date. It's been I don't know if it's COVID, and because unlike the US, you know how the US, it depended on what state or city you were in, on whether it was a lockdown or not, and all that stuff. But over here, they had like lockdown, curfews. You could only go out to do this, that, or the other. And so they're just now coming out. And like my Airbnb host, like she's still nervous to be out and about. She still hasn't been on public transportation. I done been all over the place because, I'm fully vaccinated and I, have now been out. I was out in Mexico. I was out, in Madeira. So now I'm out here. I'm not as nervous anymore. So, I'm still a little nervous, still, wearing my mask indoors, not out, out in the streets or whatever. I don't, but unless it's like super crowded. But anyway, so everybody's still kind of nervous and learning to socialize again. So I don't know if that's the problem. I don't know if maybe in Glasgow, guys have a hard time, pooping or getting off the pot. I don't know. But I had been having a hard time actually going through with meeting guys. I also feel that when you do online dating, you have a very small window, and it's usually a few days to meet face to face. Please remember this. You have a very small window. Sometimes you do. Back when I was here the first time, I chatted for 10 days with Sir before I ever met him, and we did actually meet. But generally, if you continue to only chat, if you between the days of matching to meeting or whatever, like you won't meet because both of you get very comfortable being in this, having these screens between you. And so when you not when you finally meet, because you often don't, but like when you finally say, hey, are we gonna meet or whatever, I think you're just too afraid to bring it into the real world because it's so good via chat that what if it's not as good face to face? So you have to rip the Band-Aid off and just meet. Cause man, when I was in Edinburgh, some of the dudes that I met, it was just like, we matched, we chatted for like a few minutes, and then it was like, let's meet in 2 hours. Okay, boom, boom, here, there, whatever. And then we met. It was like quick. There was only a handful that I feel like it took some time to meet. So just keep that in mind, that when you online date, you just gotta rip the Band-Aid off and just meet as soon as possible. So I think the problem was that I was chatting with them, I matched with them and then started chatting with them while I was in self-isolation. And by the time I came out of self-isolation, we had gotten to the point of, yeah, I'm afraid to meet you now. So I wasn't. I'm like, let's do this. Let's roll. But they were. So a lot of them, there was one dude that I got confused on the day that we were supposed to meet, and then he guessed it. He was just like, oh, you got a lot of suitors, huh? And I'm like, maybe a little. And then I said, well, how about we do Saturday instead of Friday? Because he was saying that he was a little busy on Friday and would have to like really rush to get things done to be able to meet, and said, well, why don't you just take your time and we meet on Saturday? Well, he ghosted me because I think he was fearful of the competition. And I just saw a tweet that was screenshot that really fits this. Yeah, so I'm just like, look, you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with the life that I have built for myself and my peace of mind and my solitude. And are you worthy of that? Are you worthy of coming into my life? You ain't competing against these dudes. I'm like, you got a way harder competition. And that's, me by myself versus these dudes. So anyway, I say all that to say that I matched with this guy that we shall call the Screenwriter. And so he does screenwriting and playwriting, and we matched. And it was one of those things, we matched, we only talked for a moment, said we were going to meet on Monday, and then that was it. And we didn't talk again. And that's another good way to do it. You say, hey, what's up? You chit chat, you get the vibe, then you pick a day, and then you don't talk again until the day or the day before. And sure enough, the morning of Monday, we had planned for Monday, the morning of Monday, he's just like, so, what time would you like to meet and where? And I said, well, look, I'm going to get off. I'll be coming into the Queen Street station, whatever. He's like, I'm coming in from Glasgow Central. I'll get there a little before you and I'll meet you at Queen Street, and then we can either do coffee or drinks. And so we met. I walked out of the train station, and it was like we saw each other. I'm sure I looked like what he thought, and he looked like what I thought. And he's like 5'9" and very slender built, like no broad shoulders or anything like that. But he was trying to remember who people say that he looked like and who he thought he looked like, but he couldn't remember. And I couldn't think of it, but I'm like, you look like somebody. And then later we realized he remembered the name, and it was Mark Wahlberg as well as Gary Oldman. And it was, crazy. Like when he scowls, when he does a scowl, he's very much Mark Wahlberg. And then he has some glasses, and he puts his glasses on, and I'm like, Gary Oldman. It's crazy. So he's, this handsome guy, but he has a very slim frame. But apparently he likes him bigger. So, So anyway, we decided to go to this bar called The Arc, and there's an outdoor area in the back, and we sat there and we got to drinking and talking, and the animated talking. And then this is my first time going on a date with a fellow writer. And so, talking about our ideas and our process and this, that, and the other in our lives. And it was like, and then he has so many questions, so that I'm in the middle of a story and he's just like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And so we go off on all these tangents. I swear we couldn't finish a conversation. We couldn't finish one conversation before we had moved on to the other, but it was great. And we were cracking up, laughing. And just having a blast, and then not even paying attention to how much we're consuming. But it started off with a bottle of wine, but I said, because the sun was out, and I go, even though it was white wine, it's still a little warm, and I go, oh, it's a little warm, I think I need a beer. So I had drank 2 glasses of white, then I got a beer, I got a beer, and I was drinking that, and then he left to go around the corner to smoke a little bit. And then I went and grabbed another beer while he was gone. And then he got another bottle of wine. And then he poured me some for me to try. So then at one point I was like double-fisted. Not a good idea. I'd never mixed beer and wine like that before. Man. Woo! And then, So, I mean, but I'm not even realizing that I'm getting intoxicated. The conversation's just flowing. I don't have time to even pay attention because it's just so good. And then, now mind you, he's polyamorous and he's not looking for anything serious. And so that is okay. But yeah, I'm like, it's just a great time. So then we leave there and then we go to a, we're walking and he's just like, this is a gay bar. I'm like, is it? And then he's like, you want to go in? And I'm just like, I'm down if you're down, which he is bi, and I don't care. I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever. So then, you know, so he's at ease in that world. And so I'm like, okay, let's go in. He's just like, see if there's anybody in there. Now in and I'm just like, there's like a couple tables. He's like, okay, so we go in there. I get another beer. He gets another wine. There's a gay. They were a couple. No, they weren't. I don't think they were a couple. They were best friends. But they were both gay. One was more cisgendered, and then the other one was more feminine. And then the cisgendered one, he left. But the feminine one, he was just like so into talking with us, and he bought us another, or was he? No, he bought the first round. And so he bought us a drink and we're sitting there talking. I cannot remember if I drank another one. If I just had one there or did I have two? I can't remember. I think we had two, which we shouldn't have. And then we left from there and he's just like, let's go back to my place. I'll go get some wine and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, not that means we're going to do anything. And I'm like, okay. Knowing that's not what you should do. But yeah, and then we got in the taxi, and for both of us, memory comes in and out as to what happened beyond that point, because he's like, I don't really remember the cab ride. And I go, I don't either. And I'm like, maybe we were smooching? I don't know. I can't remember. And so I know we got to this place, we're drinking. I have a photograph of me putting on a pair of sunglasses that was on a fake skull and with this old-fashioned microphone. And I mean, just sitting and chit-chatting and talking and drinking and sharing, and it was just a great time. And, you know, maybe some smooch and things like that, but that's all I can say about that, partially because the night was a blur. So, yeah, but I don't advise that. But with him, it was like, I have pretty good intuition. I have really good intuition, and I also have really good guardian angels. Even though I know I put them through the ringer, they'd be so tired. They'd be so tired. But my intuition was like this. He was just a lovely guy, and not a single threatening, mean, horrible, mean-spirited bone in his body. Just an absolute sweetheart. And so yeah, and I went home. He called me a cab. My phone died, so I couldn't call an Uber. So he called me a cab. I don't know if he has Uber on his phone. Probably not. But anyway, he called me a cab, and then I went home or whatever, and it was like rough going. The next day I was hungover, and then he finally messaged me at like 3 in the afternoon, and it's just like, I've been puking all day. And I'm like, oh no. And I go, I've been close. But the thing was, we forgot to even eat dinner. We forgot to eat dinner. We were just gabbing and drinking and not even thinking about it. Like, I did not think about dinner till I got home at like 1 in the morning, and I said, I ain't eat. I didn't eat. And so, and he hadn't eaten all day, so of course he's puking. So then, and that was on Monday, and then yesterday, which was Wednesday, I went over there because I left my mask. I left my umbrella. Like, I left all kinds of stuff, and I'm just like, I need my stuff. So I went back, and we had coffee, and just, again, as soon as we sat down to have coffee, and then he had a friend coming over, and they were going to be working on something, and so I was only there for a little bit while we just, and it's just like, he almost feels like he could be my bestie, like best friend. I don't know, cool guy. I hope, you know how you meet people and you hope they're in your life forever? Like, he's that person. Like, I kind of hope he's in my life forever, because he's a cool dude. And we were talking about it, I don't know if it's going to happen, but we were talking about maybe doing a podcast together while I'm here. So look out for that if I do. So that's that. He's got like some busyness going on next week, but we might try and hang out this Sunday. Other than that, it might be a week or two after that before I see him again, because he's so busy. But this weekend I will be hanging out with Tin Man. I will be heading to Edinburgh, and we will be. He's gonna make me dinner and things, and then that's on Friday, and then on Saturday he's taking me to a party that I think would do very well for a book. And that's all I got to say about that. And so that's that of this episode, as I've droned on for long enough. Yeah, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and then hit the bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. And as always, thank you for coming along with me on this journey. Hopefully I have a lot of juicy things to tell you, but at the same time not tell you. Tell you through innuendo and eye movements like that. I'm a fool. Anyway, thank you for coming along with me on this journey. And as always, I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.